All right, we are live.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Atheist Republic Sunday morning hangout. I'm Makisha. Happy Mother's Day to those who are celebrating. And today with us so far, we have Armin, Courtney, and about our support group and the services we provide for atheists in need around the world in various capacities, people who are in dangerous situations and needing to find a place for safety, people who are struggling because they are experiencing persecution, feeling like they're not getting the support they need, or even people in more dire situations. And hopefully we'll be having some more of our support team joining us in a little bit. But in the meantime, I apologize for that noise there. In the meantime, I'm going to just have Armin kind of start and tell us a bit about the logistical side of the support group, how it functions, where it exists, when it got started, stuff like that. So Armin, why don't you tell us, when did the support group start in an official capacity?
It's actually a very recent thing we're doing, but it took off much faster than we anticipated, which shows how much demand there is for it. A lot of atheists kept on messaging us saying that they have they ask for advice or somebody to talk to. They were saying that their parents, have abandoned them, or they're afraid, or they have nobody to talk to, or they are, very stressed or feel alone. And the reason why sometimes I felt didn't feel like saying much back other than giving them resources where to go to was because we're not professionals, um, and I didn't think it was appropriate for us to uh, you know give advice when we're not experts. But I mean, a lot of the experts are costly, and a lot of them are not available. And seemed like a lot of these people just wanted just somebody to talk to. And when I think it was Ellie's suggestion. I hope she joins us because she's leading this. That we just create a support group where people come and file an application about their about the problems that we're having, and then members of our team could just talk to them. And then as soon as we put that out there, we got so many people um, filing for it. And the only thing they really wanted was just somebody to talk to. And I think we made it very clear that in the application page, which I will link to in the YouTube version of this, we made it very clear that that the person that is applying for this that knows that we're not professionals, that we're just there just to listen to them. And if any of these atheists are thinking about harming themselves, they need to let us know, or we need to let somebody know, because we have some lawyers on our team, and they told us about the things that we need to be worried about if we're doing something. But I think we're doing everything properly. We're letting everybody know that we're not professionals, and we're just there to talk to them just as a friend. And that's what a lot of these people really want, especially the ones that don't have access to professional help. And I knew this is going to be something that people need, but it was unbelievable how many people actually started, asking for help, which shows how hard it is for a lot of people just to be atheists all around the world.
And we get, I know for a while, as Armin said, we were getting people emailing, and we were getting people just commenting in the Facebook group. And I know that there was a lot of concern amongst our team that there were people who were starting out being in frustrating situations, and then they're feeling, or a sense of loneliness, which I think we get a lot. We get a lot of people who just feel really alone, and those feelings can spiral from there. People whose families are not supportive or have actually ostracized them. And so there was a sense that, you know, maybe if people could just feel a little bit less alone by talking to someone directly, that we could help stop that kind of spiraling of despair, essentially. And so we do have a lot of really great team members who are just good at listening and being a support for these people. And just the page, and Armin, you can help me if this is just provides more details, but one of the ways that you can access this resource is by going to atheistrepublic.com and clicking on resources, and the option at the top is the support group for atheists, and all of the information, what you need to do is there. Is there any other way that people can access this resource, Armin?
I will link to it in the YouTube version of this Hangout. But if you just go to the homepage of atheistrepublic.com, it's there and it's free. And if you have some experience with, helping other people and talking to them professionally or even non-professionally, you could join our team. And basically, this is a very big problem, bigger than a lot of people know. These are people that are basically, if people knew about who they are and what their views are, people would, everybody around them would hate them, or they already do, or they are feeling that they have nobody to talk to really about their views and feelings. And they actually, it surprises me how many atheists around the world are actually still to this day unaware about the fact that there's a lot of atheists out there. They feel like they are very different from everybody, and every time they come and find these pages or groups, they still get messages that, wow, I didn't know there were so many other atheists out there. And so we need to do a better job at reaching out to these people, because the one thing that the gay community did very effectively was to support each other and create a sense of community, and by doing that, a lot of people that felt that there was something wrong with them, when they saw the numbers of other people that were like them, they started feeling less ashamed or less of isolated. And I think the atheist community has done that well in Western countries, but I think given that we have social media and Hangouts and chat groups, I think we still haven't done a very good job with all these atheists in other countries that we could just easily reach to. And I think having this resource would be an amazing opportunity. So anybody that basically has a little bit of extra time just to listen to some other people's problems, and come, you can join our team, and you could join Ali's team, and she will show you how to do it. And you might think like listening to their problem is not a big deal, but for a lot of people it's a big deal. I remember when I was an atheist, I didn't know when I was an atheist in Iran, I didn't know any other atheists other than myself. And the feeling of not being there's, you just feel like there's something wrong with you, and it's very, it really does feel alone. And just having somebody to talk to for a lot of people just means the world. And if we can't do anything else, we could at least try doing this. Anyways, Ali's here, so I'm going to stop talking because she's the main.
Welcome, Ali. Thank you for joining us this morning. I just wanted to, let's just go ahead and give Ali a chance to maybe introduce the group to us. Let us know, tell us about the group, how it started, maybe how many people so far are on the team, and then we'll just kind of go from there. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, Allie.
Yeah, sorry for being late, by the way. We have 7 people on our team, and we first started off with 5, but we actually grew so big that we needed more, which is fantastic. Um, we we help everyone with every situation. We've helped people from asylum assistance to just problems with their marriage, just needing a friend to talk to, needing to know how to get more active in the atheist community, things of that nature. Armin, I picked up on what he was saying at the end, and it's so true. We have so many people who just need somebody to listen, and that's fantastic. That's what we're here for. It's what we do. A lot of the hardest part of running this and kind of maintaining it is we don't just help you once. We actually become your friend. We actually stick with you and we help you, and we get updated. So it's fantastic. Doing this team. We've got Owen Mills, Dan Savich, Andrew Wigington. A lot of people know Andrew from the main group. He's also an admin of our private group. We have Christine Hughes. I know I'm leaving some. Regina's fantastic. She does a lot of community service work as well outside of Atheist Republic. And I think that's our whole team, but that's what we do. That's what we're here for.
So why, I know I remember when this started, which is not long ago. Months, maybe even not even that. And it's just, as Armin mentioned earlier, it's really kind of exploded from that. But Allie, I know when it started, this was really something that you saw as a huge need and was really important to you. What were you seeing or hearing that made this such a priority issue for you?
We see a lot of suicide messages from people that they want out. It's exhausting being in a place where if you get to expose yourself for who you really are, you're going to be hated, you're going to be jailed, you're going to be beaten. I mean, it's tragic. It's terrible, and so many people they are looking for an out. And suicide obviously is never the answer because it's the ultimate out. So we really needed somebody to be there for these people. We really needed somebody to say, hey, there are other options. If you can't gain asylum, what can we do about scholarships to get you going to college in another country, get a visa, student visa? What else can we do? So that was the huge need that we saw. So many people desperate reaching out. And it's not even the people from the Islamic countries per se. We get a lot of people here in the States or from Canada or whatever. They're just so lonely. They don't have family. Being an atheist absolutely does isolate you from your family, from your friends. And so people just needed a one-on-one kind of connection where our groups are fantastic, especially for venting about your problems, seeing that other people also have the same problems. A one-on-one connection with people is vital when you have more intimate things to say.
And I think that's just, it's hard for some people, maybe people who live in urban centers. It's hard to imagine that people would feel so lonely. But what I think sometimes we forget is even in America, there are small towns, there are medium-sized towns that are in pockets where it's not readily apparent that there are whole other communities where there are people like you. And people might say, well, we have the internet and we have TV, and well, how can people possibly think that they're alone? But I think a lot of times what happens for people is that they can't go to their they can't go to their family, and then outside their family, there's nobody close by who is in immediate proximity, and that immediate sense of loneliness just starts kind of this spiral of feeling alone, and then that causes behaviors that isolate people from other people, and it just goes from there. And I think just that connection with one other person is really huge. So it's not like we need to provide, you know, therapy for these people ongoing, and we don't. We're not claiming to be that. But having that community, I think, is really helpful, or seems to be really helpful for people. And just for anybody in the participating in the group right now, you can raise your hand at any time, and I'll call on you for questions or comments or whatever. I just want to make sure we get the background of the group and kind of where we're going with this. Courtney, you had a comment.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to add to yours and Allie's point about having that one-on-one connection with someone, because Makisha, you brought up that, you know, well, people say, well, we have the internet and we have television, but when you can't voice your concerns to, you know, to someone you feel connected with, you still feel alone. Even if you're, you know, chatting, you know, on Atheist Republic Facebook page, or, you know, you go and read the blogs or the news articles that are posted, it's still not the same as being able to say, you know, just pick up the phone, or, you know, pick up a chat and say, you know, this is what my kid's doing today, or, you know, I had this trouble at work today, and you know that one person is there for you, and you connect on just even that basic level of being an atheist, but yet you can talk about your life and everything else that you do, versus it just being a general atheist conversation.
Absolutely, that's a really good point. That's very well said. Thank you, Courtney. So Allie, tell me a little bit about how this works, like just in a real specific, practical way. How let's say somebody comes to the website and they see the support group and they fill out the form. How does that start? How does that process begin for you guys?
Oh, that's a great question. So when you come to our website and you're looking for support, you go to our resources section. You'll find a tiny little thing to fill out. We don't want to get too much information from you, but just enough to let us know how much, so how fast we need to get you the assistance, exactly what the issue is, and that's ultimately important when anyone is filling out these forms for us. Exactly what the issue is, because we have different people on our team that specialize in different areas. We have Andrew, who really likes speaking with people in Islamic countries, and we have Dan, who really likes to do research for people, and we even have a suicide certified person on our team. So whenever we know exactly what the problem is, we can get you to the right person right away, and that's really great. So you go to our support site. You give us your name, you give us your email address, you give us the problem, and that's it. The email goes straight to me, and within minutes I can get it sent out to the person it needs to go to.
So it is very straightforward, and it is very easy to get in touch with us. You provide as much information as we ask for, as Ali mentioned, only the information that we absolutely need. And you provide as much information as you want. And we have all kinds of ways that we can get in touch with people and talk to you and connect with people in whatever way they need. We're constantly getting testimonials from people, comments from people who have been helped by Atheist Republic in general. And Armin, at some point, I'd like to maybe hear some of those stories. So be thinking about some of the good ones that you've heard over the years of how Atheist Republic in general has helped people. Casper, you had a thought that I would like to hear about. We have a little text chat on the side, and so Casper, would you mind bringing up that point to the group?
Yeah, I just you know, I try to give it a little bit of thought about how much of the sort of anger that you see from a lot of new atheists or anti-theists, and I think a lot of that is probably contributed to by that loneliness, by that lack of a real community and family. I mean, you lose so much in just honestly being honest, you know, and telling people, hey, I'm sorry, but I think that's bullshit, and like I can't lie to you and myself and go on with that. I got to be honest, and then just everybody goes away. Everybody's like, oh, really? Well, fuck you. And it's like, damn it, man. You get angry, and I think we're trying to help give an outlet for that, for the anger in a healthy and productive way that's not just, doing nothing. I think it's good for people in other countries to see that even here where we have freedom and the ability to express ourselves, we still have to deal with some really shitty things. And like we know that it's worse in other places, but we get it. We get it. And we want it to be better for everybody. And just a lot of that makes us very, very angry. But yeah.
I think that is a really good point, Casper. That and this is something that if you've taken, I think it's probably Psych 101, you learn that anger is not really a primary emotion. And so when people talk about the angry atheist, that's coming from somewhere. There are other emotions behind that, and I think loneliness can absolutely lead to those feelings of anger. The sense of isolation that nobody is willing or able to listen or understand, I think definitely can lead to those angry feelings. And so if we want to help the community be less angry, then we do have to provide those resources. We can't just tell people stop being one of those angry atheists and making the atheist community look bad. That doesn't, that's coming from somewhere, and there's valid concerns and frustrations that are there. And Atheist Republic in general wants to be a community where that can happen. So I think that is really important, and that's an important point. Ali, did you want to speak to that at all?
I do, because we do get a lot of angry people, but the thing is they deserve to be angry. And that's something that was really important to help them understand, is that we understand that it's okay to be angry. It's okay, and it's okay to vent that, and it's okay to, but don't just be angry. Let that anger take you somewhere. Let that anger push you and drive you into, going where you need to go. So having a resource for these people to come to you and say, look, I'm angry. I hate this situation. The situation is outrageous, and it is most of the time. When you can't say that you're an atheist, when you have to go and pray 5 times. Yeah, that is maddening. Let's see what we can do to take that anger and move you forward, move you into a better direction. And the stigma of the angry atheist, it is rough. There's pretty much everyone on our team is very sweet, loving, happy. Not to say that we don't have our issues, or we didn't have our issues once before. I mean, when I left my family, I was homeless. So I've been through some stuff as well, and it's okay to be angry about it, but you got to use that anger for something good.
That's great, and I think that's an important point as well. That we're not. We can be just a sounding board. I mean, that's great, and sometimes that's really what people need. But I think one of the things I also like about the support group is there are real actionable things that we can provide, resources that we can provide to help people move from here to someplace in a forward direction. And you mentioned asylum, Ali, and I want to make sure just to put the bug out there that we don't forget to go back to that. I'd like to talk about that a little bit more later, because that is an important resource that we've been providing off and on as time has been going by. Ray, I wanted to give you a chance to mention 2 points. One, the matter of the resources that are blocked or inaccessible to people in certain parts of the world, particularly where you are. And maybe just touch a little bit from your personal experience what it's like to be essentially the only atheist you know around. I think that's an important point for people to hear. Ray.
Alright, so I'm sorry about the dark background. It's midnight here. So like the first case is about the many secularism websites are blocked here in Indonesia first, since actually the first thing I noticed about how the government control the internet when I check on some websites which criticize Islam and others.
I think we should Ray's voice is is getting cut. I think it's bad connection. Do you wanna try Ray? Do you know if there's anything you can do with regards to the connection? It's okay. We could try again. We could try Ray again in a few minutes to see if it's any better.
Yeah, one of the things that Ray was mentioning in the chat is that there are a lot of websites and resources for atheists that are not accessible in other places, and I wanted him to talk a bit about that from a personal perspective. So I don't know if trying to reconnect might help Ray. I'm not really sure. I think it seems to be just a buffering, a slow issue, but we'll come back to that because I think it's really important for people to hear. Erasmo, you had something you wanted to say, I believe.
Yes, I have. Hello, can anybody hear me?
You're good.
Yes. Well, yes. I wanted to add something to what Casper was saying about just being angry for the sake of being angry, and yes, a lot of people get angry for whatever reasons, and it is somewhat acceptable if you are the only atheists in a social group, and you somewhat don't feel, I don't know, that your voice doesn't reach out to everybody. But I have been thinking about an important subject about coping with certain topics or certain situations. What happens if you are the atheist and in a religious-based group? But what happens if you as an atheist get picked on by an atheist? I have been thinking about it, and well, more than to be to I want to address this to the support group, and sorry, and I wanted to say that, or to ask if the support group has, I don't know, the people who are working in the support group, if they are specialized people or psychologists, uh, people who have a pedagogic, I don't know, whatever status, although that is not especially necessary for a person to treat another person or to give advice, because most of the times people need to be treated as equal, or to be treated with care, understanding, to be addressed with the correct words they need to hear from other people. I think that's important when dealing with other people or difficult people. I don't know.
So it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, Erasmo, but there's two points there that I think might be interesting to talk to Ali about in particular. Excuse me. One is the fact that maybe some people are not experiencing backlash just from religious people, but also maybe from other atheists, if that's a problem that you're encountering or seeing. And second to that, or after that, what kind of experience, professional or otherwise, or does that even come into play? Do we even bring that up, or is that an issue? Do the people in the support group have? Ali, I'll toss that to you.
So no, not everyone in the support group does have a background specifically in psychology. I do, but I'm not a licensed psychologist. So there's that. I do have my education, my degree in psychology, and like I said, we do have other people who are specialized, I would say, in certain categories. We've had one of our support members in an Islamic country couldn't come out as an atheist. He understands that better than I would. Even if I were licensed and certified to train people, he would understand that on a deeper level. And we do have people. We have Chad, who is suicide certified. So we have people who are specialized in different areas and degrees and can assist with certain situations. Um, so there's that aspect. The other aspect of if atheists are getting bullied by other atheists, absolutely, we'll help you for anything. I have a friend now who actually didn't get a chance to come in through the support group. She came in through our private page, but reached out knowing that she needed support, and we're really good friends now. She's from Tunisia, and yeah, bullied by even her atheist friend. Bullied by her parents, her family. We help you with any situation. So even if you don't have a problem, even if you're not angry, you don't have a problem, but you're just lonely, reach out to us. We're here for that. We have a lot of people who are available for that. We have a lot of people that actually just want to talk to you, get to know you, be your friend. So it's great. We've got resources. We've got people for everything.
And do we have team members who are able to talk to people in languages other than English?
We have Andrew, who is Arabic and French. So there's that. I don't speak any one language fluently enough yet, but I would definitely be able to at least get by in a German conversation. And even if we did have somebody who needed that kind of a special need, I have access to so many people who can speak or at least translate even a conversation. We would ultimately.
Yeah, we have a lot of translators on our team, and we have access to a lot of those resources, and would definitely be able to at least provide, I think, some translation if it were necessary. So if that is something that people need, definitely just let us know, and we can even reach out to people who can reach out to people. We're a pretty big group, so I have no concerns that we would be able to provide that for people. So I want to go back to Ray and give you a chance, Ray, to maybe see if we can get a good connection this time.
All right, so everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, that seems to be better.
All right, then continue to where I left off. You see, in many countries, especially religious countries, movements that goes against their beliefs will easily be shut down, get shut down. I mean, just as what I said before, when I checked on many websites that criticize Islam, the websites got blocked by the government. Also, when there was an LGBT conference here in Indonesia. However, the people here in this country easily got angry at the conference and demand the conference to close down just before it got started. So like the point that I'm about to say is that it's pretty hard actually in many countries when we want to be more active, go public, because many people think that our way to approach other atheists does not go against what they want. Our ideas, our movements, they just don't. I mean, it's too hard for such movement to go public, really here in Islamic countries, and many religious countries. And the second point that I want to say is that one of the main points why atheists out there got so lonely is because they got no idea that the other atheists are around there with them, just as what the others said. However, the most important thing, all of them, all of the atheists around us need to meet up, need to meet up online in real life and gather up. So like we can have a nice group chat, we can personal experience on as atheists, our own, not only on websites or Facebook or what. Our role in real life is also really important. So it is also important for us to find out more atheists in our own places. Like me in Indonesia, it's hard for me to find a lot of atheists, even though I found two fellow atheists. Both are quite far away from my current city. So I think that's all I want to say. Back to you, Makisha.
Thank you, Ray. I just want to sum that up a little bit because there was quite a lot of background noise, which is totally fine, and I appreciate you for moving to a different space so that we could get a good connection. But I just want to maybe recap a little bit, and that is that a lot of the resources available to atheists in places where they are silenced are online, and those online resources can be blocked by their governments, and often are. And not everybody knows how to get around that. Sometimes you can't get around it, and so that even that is not always available to people, and that is even further more isolating. Another point that I think Ray made that was really good, and the timing on the connection was really bad because he said the most important thing and then it started getting a little choppy, but I think I got it, is that it's one thing to connect with somebody virtually. It's another thing to connect with somebody in person. To be able to see their face, to be able to hear their voice, to be able to have that ongoing conversation is important. We as humans need those connections. And so to that point, I wanted to have Armin talk about our community meetup people and that initiative that we've been doing to try to get people in areas to get atheists together in person. So Armin, would you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, we just started that, so that's not something that we put the groups up basically all the groups up just yesterday. But we're trying to see, because everything Atheist Republic has done so far is online. Well, mostly everything at Atheist Republic has done is online. So, but we want to get a lot of people keep saying, contacting us with regards to like, can we help them find other atheists around them? We tell them we have the support group, which is good because they can talk to another atheist, but some people are very interested in finding other atheists around them, and a lot of big cities have atheist groups already, and if you just search for them on on Google, you might be able to find atheists in your area. But a lot of smaller places, or even in some big cities from some religious countries, they don't have that. If you look, and so what we want to do is to provide anybody can, join the Atheist Republic team and ask if to start a group for them. And what we would do is we'll start promoting their group to other atheists in the area so that they could find each other. It's going to be tricky with some religious countries because I don't want our private group to be a great place for some crazy people to find atheists in the area to be able to harass. So I don't know how we're going to deal with it because we need to make the group somehow people be able to find it, but at the same time we don't want to make it completely secret because that would make it harder to grow, but at the same time we don't want to be responsible for people getting into trouble. So I think what we're going to suggest is for people to maybe make fake accounts to join these groups. So we have to figure that out as it grows. But that's something that we just got started on. I just last night I was awake making more than 100 groups, and we have a page which is I also link to that, where on our website where we link to all of these groups, and people could find their own city and join the group for that specific city. And if they can't find their city, they could we have a link there that they could contact us, and we could start a group for their city. That's basically and they're called the Atheist Republic consulates. So that's what we're calling them.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to collect all of these thoughts and try to get them in a specific order. So I wanted to address, Casper, hold your thought until after this, and then I want to get to you. Ali, I wanted to just quickly touch on the asylum situation, and maybe you can speak to some of, I believe you wrote a post or a resource about that, and it was, I think, in response to some issues that were coming up and presented to us. So if you could touch on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so one of the main problems that I see with people looking for asylum is they're looking for asylum for all the wrong reasons. Just being an atheist in an Islamic country is not necessarily a reason to seek asylum. When you should seek asylum is when either people have found out and they're looking to do you harm in some way, or you're going to do yourself harm in some way if you can't get out. I mean, there are some people who are just bored. They just don't like it. And that really holds back the asylum process for so many people. So I think that my resource, while it was great, me throwing that out there kind of firsthand, wasn't exactly what people wanted to hear, but it's the truth. Speaking with somebody who I've spoken to a few different people from Canada, from the United States, who say the biggest problem with people seeking asylum is all the people who are seeking asylum for the wrong reasons. So that's the first thing that I like to address with anybody. Are you in danger? Are you in immediate physical danger? Do you have somebody in your area you can run to rather than running to a different country altogether? So once you break past that, and once somebody really decides, okay, yes, asylum is for me, this is exactly what I need, then there are at least 30 other resources that they can then reach out to who will assist them with doing their paperwork, getting them a lawyer to help them with their paperwork. Some will actually even let you not even lend you the money, give you the money for your visa and for your plane ticket to get over there. So it's just a matter of if you can hold on long enough, if you can do the paperwork in your country, depending on where you want to go. In the United States, you can't do asylum paperwork unless you're already in the United States. You have to get here first. But in Canada, there's a waiver to that. You have to go through certain resources. So there's a lot. There's definitely a lot that people have to look into, they have to think about before setting aside, okay, I'm going to start asylum. There's so much involved in it. It is so emotionally draining. It is so consuming of everything that you are. That, again, that's what we're here for as well. Those times where you just feel like giving up, those times where you feel like it's not worth it, those times where you're just like, I'll just die. I would rather die than get one more rejection, than get one more confused place to go to. We're here for that kind of emotional support, and we're here to kind of point you in the best direction. Okay, this one said no. Let's move on to this one. We've got 30. All of them say no. I know lawyers here that will personally help you. Pro bono. We've got everything. So there's never an end. There's never an end. And so where we come in for the asylum, it frustrates a lot of people who just want out right now. And I get that, and that's absolutely the worst thing ever. But let us be here to emotionally support you. Let us point you in the right direction. And
that's an important point just in general. There's always something else. No, there's always some other option. There's always some other resource. I think sometimes one of the best tools this provides is just another perspective, another person who's outside of that emotionally charged situation, who can say, what about this? You know, have you thought about this? And sometimes it is, after the person says it, it seems so obvious, but when you're right in the middle of something very emotional, it's difficult, or not even necessarily very emotional, just when you're in the middle of it, it's difficult to see the forest for the trees. And when somebody else comes in and says, yeah, you know, that really sucks, and then maybe brings up an alternative or a thought that maybe you haven't thought of, and then all of a sudden, you know, there's a whole other pocket of light that you can sort of move to, and then go from there to there to there, and that alone, I think, is a huge resource for people, and something that I think is really beneficial. So I really appreciate our support team. They're very selfless, giving, compassionate people, and it's growing because the need is growing, and so that's a really huge thing, and I'm really proud of that from our team. So Casper, one of the things that you mentioned is maybe romantic connections or those kinds of things that are important that we might not talk about a lot. So do you want to speak to that a little bit, or ask your question?
Yeah, I was just considering how important my marriage is for me. If it wasn't for having my wife and the family that we've created, like I would be a much more, I don't know, a much more angry person, a much more upset and lonely person, because I wouldn't have anything else. I mean, this is the family that I made and that I've got, and if it wasn't for being able to find someone else that shared the same worldview as me, I don't know how difficult that could possibly be for someone, you know, and especially in a country where you literally cannot find another person. Like, it's impossible because everyone else is religious, and you just happen to be the odd man out that said, oops, I didn't believe. And now you can't connect with someone on that level, because that's, you know, to connect with someone romantically, to really have a good connection, you have to connect with them on a whole worldview level, and it's hard to find that for a lot of people out there. So I imagine that's something that's very hard for other people to deal with, because I know without it, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have put myself forward and worked as hard as I have, especially in the projects that I work for Atheist Republic, because my family drives me. You know, I've got 2 little boys, and everything I do is about trying to create a better world for them and every generation beyond them, as long as they carry on, you know. So it becomes a really important thing when you have that. I feel like everything I do is very, very, very important, and it's for the people that don't have what I have and can't have it, will never have it. That's just horrible. It's horrible that people have to go through that. So I'm glad that we give them somewhere to talk and some way to vent about that.
And related to that also is the people who are in relationships, and maybe they got into a relationship when they were religious, and then they stopped believing. And I can't imagine how difficult that must be for people. I can imagine, and I was fortunate to have made that transition with my husband, which is just mind-boggling to me that it worked out that way, because it would be really hard. It's one thing, I think, to go into a marriage when one person is atheist and one person is religious, and you work that out as you go along. But to be in a religious marriage and then and then stop believing, I think would be would be really difficult. And so, Ali, did you have anything you wanted to address with?
I did. So Dan Savage and I are going to be starting a blog actually about this, and an entire stream of, I guess, a collection of blogs about online dating for the atheist, because yes, absolutely, there's so many places where atheists are not going to be able to find an atheist spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you're looking for. So we firsthand have met each other through the Atheist Republic, and in our private group, everyone always complains, we're not a dating site, we're not a dating site. Well, we've had so many marriages start out that have been successful and amazing because of the Atheist Republic private group. So say what you will about it not being a dating site, but it kind of is if that's what you need it to be. So yeah, we're excited to start that, and I just wanted to throw that out there, that yes, so many people will need to find, if that's important to you, like it is to me. I don't think I'd ever be able to date a theist. Nothing wrong with it at all, but I just don't think that it's for me. So if other people are that same way and there's no one in your area, then yes, absolutely, online dating is going to be for you, and there's a lot that you have to keep in mind when you're starting that process and journey. So we'll be writing about that soon.
And I think that's something that would be a great hangout topic to do sometime too. We've done a variety of relationship related things. It's obviously a huge. Sorry, I had a bug there fly in my face all of a sudden. It's obviously really important to people, and it's something that I think would be great for us to talk about in the hangout. Erasmo had something, and then I believe Courtney wanted to say something after that. Go ahead, Erasmo.
Okay, well, yes, everything that has been on topic right now, I think that's what I wanted to hear from the of what the atheist support group is about. That it deals more with the emotional intelligence rather than a standard cold-handed intelligence. I mean, just that it takes a more humanistic approach, and so far what I have been listening and airing in this hangout. And by the way, sorry for for my absence, my sudden absence. My internet is so crappy right now, but yeah, so far, that's what I wanted to hear from of what the support group is about. And all the ideas that I have been listening, I think they are very good. Something that I want to add is that, well, I think regarding Ali's idea on atheist online dating, probably it will be, and I think I stand my point that it's an amazing idea, but I don't know how much impact it will have as a worldwide effect. That's all.
And I think that's since it's been brought up, it is obviously related to the sense of loneliness that a lot of people feel. But I think, like I mentioned before, having a separate hangout will be great for that, because we can address maybe people's questions, and this is obviously, Ali said that they're just working on their idea now, so it'll be good to talk about coming up in the next few weeks. Courtney, I think, had something to say.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to add to the whole conversation, but definitely point out kind of what Armin was just talking about with the local, like, in real life groups. For someone like me, I live outside of a big city that has a lot of atheist meetups. Like, they have once a week they're doing something, but I live so far away from there that it's hard. Like, I can't get there. So for me, I don't have any atheist friends in my town, and I know that there's atheists that live here, but I think that it would be great to actually do something like that for, you know, small towns like myself, where we just can't get into the big city to to go join those. But as far as the support group goes, I think that it's definitely going to help out so many people. Just for the previous comment about the humanistic approach, because it's not just a cold case where you call in and it's just like a 1-800 number and people have scripts and what to follow and whatnot. You can actually get into a personal conversation with someone. And for me, you know, I talk to a lot of atheist parents, you know, with their kids, and they don't know how to raise their kids, and they're worried about the bullying with their kids in school. So I think that even touching upon those subjects and relating as a mother would be just absolutely amazing to even help that out. Because a lot of people forget about even kids as young as 1st and 2nd grade get picked on for not believing by their peers. As adults, we look at that like in ourselves, but we totally forget about these kids, because the kids who are being raised religious, they have no filter. They'll say, well, what do you mean you don't believe in Jesus? My mom says you're going to go to hell. You know, so to the little atheist kid, it's like, what are you talking about? I don't want to burn forever. So I don't know, that was just one of my little input there.
Thank you, Courtney. And I would actually love to see, we've sort of dipped our toe into the whole kind of Q&A thing with our Hangouts, and I'd love to see that maybe move forward a little bit more formally, and maybe just get some topics like parenting, and just pick some of the more often repeated questions that people have about a topic, and then get a panel to provide their feedback and answer that. I think that would be really great, because we do, sometimes it's hard because we put a question out there and we'll get like 700 responses or questions or whatever, but I think it would be really useful, and I could be wrong, but I think it would be really useful for people to get that kind of feedback, to have somebody say, this happened to my kid, how am I supposed to respond? Or this happened to me, what would you do? Those kinds of things I think would be really a fun thing to do for our Hangouts. So I'm tossing that out there, and maybe we'll play around with how that might might look. I did want, we're going to possibly go a little bit over, but that's okay. I wanted to ask Ali, do you get a lot of submissions for assistants that are not, either they're not real, or there's trolls, or there's people who are just particularly difficult that there's, you know, you can't deal with, or because that's logistically, I think that's maybe a concern that has come up, and when we were talking about the support group, that came up. Do you get that a lot?
I've had one person who I didn't trust because they wanted names of atheists around them, and their email address had kafir in it, and I didn't feel comfortable, and I told them anything that gets shared with us, we do not share with anybody else. So I will never give anyone your name. I'll never say to anyone that you've contacted us, whether I know you or whether I don't know you, it doesn't matter. I will never let anybody know your information. So when this person wanted to know a list of names of other people around, I had to turn them down and ask them to quit communication. If that was all they wanted, was information that I would not provide, that was it. But other than that, no. We've had no trolls yet.
And I think that's honestly, like, I actually kind of find that surprising. But I think one of the reasons why that is because there is a little bit. It's not a lot, and you can just go onto the website and see what the form is. But there is a form, and then we contact you. So there is a little bit of a stopgap measure there for somebody who maybe just wants to poke the bear, or, you know, be a pest. It's not just a direct line of communication with somebody instantaneously. So there is a little bit of a process there, and everybody involved in our support group is very savvy and involved in the online world and knows their stuff pretty well. So I think that's great. That's great to hear. And I love that we're helping people. And I just want to give just public acknowledgement to Ali, who does so much for Atheist Republic, and has such a big heart and really wants to help people, and I'm appreciative of that personally, and I know Atheist Republic is very lucky to have her. So does anybody else in our maybe last couple of minutes have a comment or a question? Army?
I just want to say one thing. Well, actually, two things. The first one is that one position that we are hoping. I'm hoping. I haven't talked to you guys about it yet, but you could tell me if it's a good idea. That if we could get volunteers that will support people with filing applications, whether it's a lot of people don't really have never filed any of these. They don't know. Maybe they can't even read them sometimes. When it comes to not just asylum seekers, but somebody that is has a good chance of getting maybe a work visa or a student visa, or I don't know. But I think like there's a lot of people that have other ways to leave their country if they're not in immediate danger, but they're still living in a horrible situation. If you're not in immediate danger, but you still feel oppressed or discriminated against, then you don't have a case for asylum. But there are other ways that maybe we could help people. So if you're watching this and you have any advice, feel free to contact us. Tell us what kind of volunteer opportunities we should provide for people to join our team and help atheists. Just what you think. What could we provide online to other people around the world? What do you think people need the most support of? Or if you are in need yourself, let us know how do you think we could help you or people like you around the world? What other things what other resources we could add to the list of things that we're doing? With the support team that we already have, I just want to remind people that we just started this, and the only reason why it's already so effective is because of Ali and everybody else. But I didn't expect it to be this effective this fast. I thought this would just be the trial period, but apparently we're already doing a lot. But we're still going to try to make it even better. We're going to try to, make it easier for people to find the time that works for them. We're going to make the application process much faster and easier. And if you did try the support team, and if you did talk to somebody, if you have any feedback for Ali, just you could easily contact us and let us know. She's very open to feedback, and I think that's all I have to say.
And we love hearing from our Atheist Republic community at any time if you have ideas or questions, and we really want to hear from you. So shoot us an email, contact us. And one last question from Erasmo, and then we're going to say goodbye for this week. Go ahead, Erasmo.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if you can be part of, or I can be part of the support group, and if there are special requirements for me to be part of the support group.
That's a great question. Ali or Armin, or both, what is the best way for people to join the team, to join either the support group or any other positions that Atheist Republic might have to offer? Ali, why don't you speak to the support group? If somebody wants to join the Atheist Republic team in order to be on the support group, what's the best way to do that?
I believe that we put out, and I'll need to check with Armin on this, but haven't we put out a volunteer slip for this already?
And that's for people that are not inside the team already. For people that are inside the team, like everybody here is already part of the Atheist Republic team, so they could just mention it in a team group and ask you, and then you could talk to them about it. I mean, we don't want people that already have gone through the application process to go back and do another application for another position. We have a lot of people that wants to join the team. Like we have people that joined as bloggers, and they never blogged once, but they did so many other things instead of blogging. And we have people that joined as a social media manager, and they ended up blogging. So we don't have to. You don't have to stick to your position. And some, we have people like Ali and Casper that just basically took over so many roles at the same time, and we also have people that just participate once every 6 months, and all of it is all of it is okay. So for people that are not inside the team, it's really easy to join. You just go to atheistrepublic.com and you click on where it says at the top menu bar where it says volunteer, and you see a lot of different positions. But just know that the position that you apply for is not necessarily the position that you have to stay in. You could do and you could even argue for a new position. You could say like, I want to start my own project, and we welcome all of that.
I believe right now our support group is people that have already been are already a part of the Atheist Republic team. I don't think there's a specific application for the support group right now. As we've mentioned several times, this is new and has really taken off and started with our core group and built from there. So if that's something you want to be involved with, you can either email us or you can fill out a form, an application for any of the positions, basically. Maybe one that you think you might be interested in addition to the support group. So if you're not already a team member, you can go to that volunteer page and just pick something or email us, or how it doesn't need to be very formal. We'll just go from there. So we're going to wrap it up because we're going a bit over. So thank you all of you for joining us today in our chat. Thanks especially to Ali for all the information, and to Armin as well. And thank you for your stories and your feedback. And thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you next week.